Now I'm moving to stage 3. In stage 3, I'm going to drop the bomb. The bomb is a completely independent argument. I personally am more moved by the bomb than I am by anything I said up until now, but the bomb is subtle, so some people don't like it. But I'll explain to you exactly how it works. Imagine the following. I pull out of my pocket a solid gold, 14-karat gold pen. And I show you, this is no ordinary 14-karat gold pen. This baby writes with 14-karat gold ink. So you say, wow, Kelemen, nice pen. But I don't think rabbis can afford things like that. Where'd you get it? So I said, you know, this used to be a black plastic pen with normal ink from American Airlines. And what I did was I converted it into solid gold and liquid gold using this handy-dandy chemical equation. I performed alchemy. So a bit skeptical, you say, really, Kelemen, you performed alchemy? Could I borrow that for a few minutes? And you take the description of my experiment and you hand it out to 30 teams of chemists and physicists. And you say to them, we want to know if Kelemen's lying or telling the truth when he says he converted plastic into gold. So replicate. And these 30 teams of chemists and physicists attempt to perform this experiment, which I claim has the exact conditions of my experiment. And after 10 years of trials, they throw it on the table and they say, it didn't work. Okay, now what do you conclude? When I said I converted plastic into gold, was I telling the truth or telling a lie? I was lying. Why? Now I'm going to slow your brain down and show you how you work that out. Every person in this room, I hope, believes that natural things happen more than once. You all believe in scientific method. The backbone of scientific method is that natural things will happen more than once. If you cannot replicate the experiment, if you cannot turn plastic into gold, that means this is a lie, because if it was true, it could happen again. Now, why is that significant? It is possible to get away with certain types of lies. How do I know it's possible to get away with certain types of lies? Not because I'm a philosopher or a psychologist. The way that I know that it's possible to get away with certain types of lies is because I'm an empiricist. And when I look around the world, I see those lies repeat over and over and over again. So for example, is it possible to get away with a lie that God took human form? Yes. How do I know that? I can name a dozen religions that have God in human form. Okay. This is the skeptic in me saying that all these religions are not true, but I confess that. But nevertheless, I think it's possible to get away with such a lie because I see all these religions who did it. Okay. Is it possible to get away with a lie that a man ascended into the heavens and achieved great wisdom and came back to teach people? Yes, I find dozens of religions with such a claim. Is it possible to get away with a lie that a god impregnated a woman who gave birth to a miraculous child? Yes, I find many, many religions that have such a belief. Is it possible to get away with a lie that God spoke to 100 people or 1,000 people or 50,000 people? If it's possible, then I should find 2 religions with that belief, or 3, or 4. Okay, now here's the problem. This is what I'm presenting to you right now. By the way, you don't have to understand what I'm saying at this point. I don't expect you to understand. If you have lack of clarity, clarity is coming right now. Here are 165 major religious families, the world's religions. Here are the number who heard God speak in each religion from 1 up to, I don't know, let's say 100 million. Okay, now, what would I expect to find? That is, if you could get away with a lie about a group of people hearing God speak, would you expect that you can only get away with such a lie if you say that it was 37 people who heard God speak, but if you said 36 or 38, it wouldn't work? No. If you can get away with a lie about a group of people hearing God speak, it wouldn't make a difference if it's 37, if it's 100, if it's 178, if it's 2,000, if it's 50,000, it shouldn't make a difference. If you can get away with a lie about a group of people hearing God speak, make up any number that you want and tell the lie and people will buy it. Therefore, what I expect to find, if you can get away with such a lie, is this. A random splash of mythologies, each claiming that a different number of people heard God speak. Clear? That is what is expected. Okay, now, this is what we actually find. How many people heard God speak in your religion? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 million. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Does that look normal? If that were a natural event, that would happen more than once. Natural events happen more than once. I don't expect you to have clarity yet. Let me make it more clear. Maybe what happened was there was a group of people who slaves who escaped into a wilderness. And then in the wilderness, because they really believed in their leader, they had faith in him and they believed whatever he said and they told their children. So I say to you, do slaves ever escape into wildernesses? You say, yeah, right? Is slavery common? Yeah, tremendously common throughout history, today and going all the way back through history. Well, if slavery is common and slaves normally escape into the wilderness, then, and that's all you need in order to start a mythology about mass revelation, we should find lots of mass revelations. Oh, so I guess you require more than that. Okay, it was escaped slaves who escaped into the wilderness and did drugs. Okay, do slaves ever take drugs? That's a normal thing for people to do, yeah, unless they ban it, right? But in Colorado, if slaves escaped, they would take drugs, yeah? So that's a normal thing. Normal things happen more than once. If all you need is there escaped slaves going into a wilderness and taking drugs, then in 4,000 years of recorded human history, we have about 4,000 years of comprehensive cultural histories. In 4,000 years of comprehensive cultural histories, I should find another religion that claims mass revelation. But we don't. Why? Why can't you get away with a lie about a large group of people hearing God speak? By the way, I think I know why you can't get away with such a lie. I think it's because the ability to maintain a conspiracy is inversely proportional to the number of people involved. And when you start saying that 5 people heard God speak, someone spills the beans and the religion explodes. But forgetting that for a minute, even if I'm wrong about that, I can prove to you you can't get away with such a lie. I can prove to you, without being a philosopher or a physicist, I can prove to you that a person cannot jump off a 50-story building, flap his arms, and fly. And I don't need to be a philosopher or even a physicist to prove that to you. How do I know that? Because no one ever did it. Every time they jump off the 50-story building, they go splat. So that tells me it doesn't work. If it was possible to launch a lie about mass revelation, it would have been done. By the way, I've heard people say before, well, no, who would ever think of such a thing? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to tell a lie about a religion starting, what is the simplest lie you can say? God spoke to people. What else are you going to say? Why would people always say God only spoke to 1 or 2? Why wouldn't they ever say God spoke to 3? Why not tell that lie? So it turns out the reason you don't tell that lie is because you can't get away with it. And if you do tell the lie, you hear about it maybe for a year, but not 2 years. Someone spills the beans. So now, I'll show you the power of this third part of the lecture. You walk out of here today, and you tell somebody, yeah, today I was visiting an Orthodox Jewish women's seminary, and they had a speaker who proved to us that God spoke to the Jews at Mount Sinai. Okay, so first you will be corrected by me. I proved nothing. I'm putting evidence on the table which is worthy of consideration, that's all. But your friend is going to say to you, how do you prove it? And you go through the whole argument, and they say, oh, Judaism could have easily started made by people. You say, really, how? Well, there was one person, and he told somebody that God spoke to 3 people, and then that person exaggerated, gave him a telephone and said God spoke to 30 people. After a few generations, it was God spoke to 3 million people. And the mythology slowly evolved over time until there was a mythology about God speaking to 3 million people. That could easily happen. So you turn to them and you say, oh, really? That could easily happen? Tell me something. Things that could easily happen, do they happen more than once in history? Then why didn't anyone else make up such a mythology? Why didn't a mythology ever evolve about mass revelation anyplace else? Oh, because that's not how it happened. It happened with the drug trip and the thunderstorm. To say, a drug trip and a thunderstorm, that could produce a belief in mass revelation? Yeah, easily. Really? Things that can happen easily, do they ever happen more than once? Yeah. then why didn't a thunder step and a drug trip ever produce it someplace else? Do you see the problem here? Anything that they say, whatever argument they make, however they say Judaism started, they're going to have a problem. Because if they say that could easily happen, then I have a question. Why didn't it? Why isn't there somebody else who has a mass revelation? All the other religions have repeating themes. All of them. Except for one thing which repeats in every religion except for Judaism, which is it's always one or two people. Why?